Islam, Islam, Islam. This is the Sheik, your host. Who's the host in the Sheik? I'm going to say it's got to be Chief Justice Durand Edward Murrell Bay. In capitis diminutio, nolo, in red ink, in proprio, persona sui juris, in proprio solo, and in proprio heredes. How's my family? I hope that everyone is high vibration. Here we go. High vibrational. Everybody's loving. Everybody's peaceful. And mostly, everybody's in law. And the only way you can get in law, proclaim your nationality. Without a nationality, and I'm gonna break it down a little bit for y'all real soon. Hold on. But I got two ancient documents that I like to read, I like to state on the public record. And they're fairly short. Okay, that's the reason why I'm stating two of them. Okay. They already been put on the public record physically. Okay, now I'm verbalizing them, stating them on the public record, which helps me pound it in because in the Moore Science Temple of America, we have tools of the workshop of the mind where things are made of thought and where we build up character, okay? And one of the tools we use is the hammer. We use the hammer to pound in the truth and make it a part of every part. Repetition, that's how you gain and retain knowledge by constantly going over it. You remember it, okay? I just said I was going to elaborate further on something else beginning. And how can I say this? Man. All right, fam. Empire State of Morocco. I still ain't, okay, yeah. Empire State of Morocco, United States for America, Moorish National Republic, Federal Government. Universal Sovereign Original Indigenous Ancient Al-Moroccan Moorish American Sovereign Currency Controller Durand with Murrell Bay. Ogunwole Supreme Seven Solutionil. All rise and stand and remain standing into perpetuity. This is a sovereign living ancient Article 3 Moorish American Al-Moroccan Consular Court action. I am sovereign living justice Durand with Murrell Bay in capitis diminutio nolo in red ink in propria persona sui juris in proprio solo and in proprio heredes. My free chosen national appellation is Ogunwole Supreme Seven Solutionil in capitis diminutio nolo in red ink in proprio persona sui juris in proprio solo and in proprio heredes. We are the original indigenous, sovereign, ancient, Al-Moroccan, Moorish American ascendants of the great pharaohs of Kemet and of the ancient Moabites and Canaanites. Our full faith and trust, our allegiance, our credit, and our energy are hereby vested in ourselves, for we are the people who are the original indigenous, natural, divine, ancient empire state of Morocco and the de jure Moorish National Republic federal government. We hereby exercise all sovereign rights at this time and at all points in time, non-pro tempore. Whereas it is the law by this sovereign consular court action that from time to time immemorial into perpetuity, that I, Durand, Murrell and all Moors in capitis diminutio nolo in red ink in propria persona sui juris and in proprio solo and in proprio heredes are the universal sovereign original indigenous currency controllers for all lands, all natural resources, all shipping, all postal, all banking, and all commerce at earth, Gaia, America, Northwest Mexium, Northwest Africa, the North Gate, and all Moorish American ancient dominions. I and all sovereign original indigenous natural divine Moorish Americans who are the sovereign universal original indigenous nations and governments are the highest authority and are the sovereign executors, ministers, trustees, claimants, and beneficiaries for our own vast estate. All commerce is backed by gold, silver, precious metals, rare earth minerals, and high-value elements on our vast estate. Whereas the flag for all government structures, including post offices on our land, is the sovereign universal original indigenous Moorish American flag, which is red with the green five-pointed star. Whereas we are the sovereign, peaceful highest jurisdiction for all matters in all space and at all points in time. The universal sovereign original indigenous Moorish American consular courts are the proper jurisdiction for the land and for all currency controller, merchant, and commercial affairs. All sovereign universal original indigenous Moorish American currency controllers are universal post office court justices, judges, and consuls. Whereas the sovereign ancient Moorish American gold standard is activated at all dominions in the sovereign ancient empirical table for natural elements is also activated. All strategic natural minerals and metals affidavits are hereby activated. All systems at our ancient dominions are subject to the living sovereign Moorish American nationals, to include banking and fund conveyance systems, stock exchange markets, commodities markets, all industrial systems, and blockchain systems, all of which are part and parcel of our ancient gold-backed universal postal union system. Whereas the sovereign language for our land is ancient English, ancient Phoenician, and Moorish Latin, all sovereign nations and governments' chosen language shall be honored. The sovereign living ancient zodiac constitution is in force. The living sovereign American Constitution for the United States, 1789 and 1791, is also in force. The Moorish American Universal Commerce portals are hereby open for gold-backed exchange, trade, and commerce. All, in all capital letters in black ink, United States Corporation Company, debt is unlawful. All currency at earth are hereby issued by the Empire State of Morocco. Who is the de jure Moorish National Republic federal government. The American Provost Marshal has been notified. Chronos, time immemorial into perpetuity. Ego sum, Durand, Murrell, red thumbprint. Durand, Murrell, and capitis diminutio, nolo, in propria persona, sub juris, in proprio solo, and in proprio heredes. That's been a statement of the first ancient document. The second ancient document, Empire State of Morocco, Universal, Sovereign, Original, Indigenous, Natural, Divine, Article 3, Writ Affidavit, Universal Commercial Code 1, Article 9, Constitution for the United States, 1789 and 1791, Amendment versus Command. Okay. I like to express, these are also documents that I wanted to read, okay? And I said, why not share it with my family as I read and put it on a public record so the world would know the law, okay? Because the more is out of law, and we state the law on the public record, you know what I'm saying, in order for ones to know what the law is, okay? That's why it's good to always have an open mind. You know, open mind take you a long way. All rise and stand and remain standing to perpetuity. This is a sovereign, living, ancient Article 3 Moorishe American and Moroccan court action. We are the sovereign, living, justice, and capitis diminutio, nolo, in red ink, in proprio persona sub juris, in proprio solo, and in proprio heredes. All Moors are the original indigenous sovereign ancient Moroccan Moorishe American descendants of the great pharaoh of Kemet and of the ancient Moabites and Canaanites. Our full faith and trust, our allegiance, our credit, and our energy are hereby vested in ourselves. For we are the people who are the original indigenous natural divine ancient Empire State of Morocco and the de jure Moorish National Republic federal government, the Universal Moorishe American Consulate, and the Article 3 Moorishe American Consular Court. We are peace. We are one God. We hereby exercise all sovereign rights at this time and at all points in time, non-pro-temps. Constitution for the United States, 1789, Amendment 5. No person shall be held to answer for a capital or otherwise infamous crime unless on a presentment or indictment of a grand jury, except in causes arising in the land or naval forces or in the militia when in actual service in time of war or public danger, nor shall any person be subject for the same offense to be twice put in jeopardy of life or limb, or shall be compelled in any criminal cause to be a witness against himself, nor be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law. Nor shall private property be taken for public use without just compensation. Constitution for the United States, 1789, Article 4, Section 1. Full faith. Okay, let me stop. This is the Sheik, where we share and discuss supreme law, universal law, Moorishe law, and divine law. Okay, let me continue. Article 4, Section 1. Full faith and credit shall be given in each state to the public acts, records, and judicial proceedings of every other state, and the Congress may by general law prescribe the manner in which such acts, records, and proceedings shall be proved, and the effects thereof. Universal Commercial Code 1, Article 4, Rights of Possession. All sovereign rights are exercised at this time and at all points in time, to include the right of possession for all property. This sovereign justice stands as law. See attached electronic money interchange command. I had it attached because I was going to read it with it, and it slipped my mind. Let me see if I can locate it real quick and see if I can go into it. If not, catch me next time on that. Okay. And that has been a complete reading of that document. I told you I was short. Okay. Law governs all events. I like to express that prior to the last 5 to 7 years, give or take, the Moors have been asleep, or let's say slowly waking up, okay, from asleep, okay? And the law was not enforced, okay? Our law was not enforced. And our law has always been the law from the everlasting past, okay, until the never-ending days to come, okay? And those that were acting in positions of government officials were pretending or acting as if they was carrying out the law that we had set, okay? Because they have no rights to make law or even enforce law. Like I said, they were acting. So they took our laws, they took our government, they took our structure and pretended like they was in that office. And I've shared this a few times before, but for those that have yet to hear it, if you're not aware, look up color of law and color of authority, because they always told you that they act up under color of law and color of authority, you know, because they have to tell the truth, okay? They have to. And when you look up color of law and the color of authority in the law or legal dictionary, law dictionary, particularly the Black's Law Dictionary or any other law dictionary, it states that color of law and the color of authority is the appearance of law and the appearance of authority, okay? Think about that. Appearance of law. I told you they were acting, so the appearance supports that they was acting because they only appeared as if they was carrying out the law, which you know from experiences, that's not what they was doing because they was unjust, okay? And I'm going to say they was unjust. I ain't going to say reason. I'm going to say that they was unjust because we were not in our proper status, okay? We were not on our throne ruling to direct them to carry out the law properly, because that's their position. They're subjects to us. They're subjects to the Moors. It's always been their role. You know what I'm saying? And they play their role well as long as we are in our proper status. Okay? If we're not in our proper status, like children, what would children do when the parents are not around? They're going to feel free to do what they want to do. Okay? And this is what has occurred or manifested over a long period of time. Okay? But like everything, it's ordained. Okay? Everything is divinely orchestrated. It serves a purpose. Even though you might not understand and understand, but Allah is leading and is always in charge. Okay? And victory is sure. A lot of times you lack faith and you lack knowledge, which is the same thing. Okay? To establish your faith in order to have a understanding and understanding of what it is that you see manifesting. Okay? Somebody got to be neglecting their responsibilities if you see a lot of evil going on, And a lot of times, if you take the responsibility and look in the mirror, you will come to the conclusion that it's you. And that's the reason why it took so long, in order for us to establish the law, because it took some of us to go through some experiences only come to realize, hold up, something ain't right. And we start to tap in to our spirit, and we start to listen to spirit, and over a period of time, we had to start out with the general laws, and later we received the supreme laws. And once the supreme laws were received, we was able to take back our position, our proper status, and begin to rule again. Okay? And set everything in its rightful place. Okay? And that's what adults do, Because when I was a child, I thought as a child, understood as a child, so I acted like a child. But when I became a man, I put all childish things away, And I resumed my position as the ruler, as the sovereign, as the supreme authority. Okay? Now, everything can be governed up under love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, which is a beautiful thing. But a lot of y'all don't know what's going on in order to understand and understand that what you see that's going on is still a whole lot of acting, because you still are caught up in that television. That's what they do well, is act. Now, if you're looking for a show, keep watching. Enjoy the show. But if I was you, I wouldn't take it too seriously. Okay? I would look past what I see and over understanding what's being said and how it's being said. Okay? And for you Moors, the prophet said, make your meetings. Okay? And making your meetings is to be attentive while in your meetings. And since you always supposed to be on your square, you're always in a meeting. So you're always supposed to be reflecting on self, and you're always supposed to be paying attention to your surroundings. so you can understand and understand what's going on. And one major thing that I like to advise Moors, stay out your feelings. They distort your judgment. They cause you to live a lie, live in illusions. And we know illusions pass away. And then you get further in your feelings and you want to blame somebody else instead of take responsibility. When you act or behave this way, you must know that you are no longer on your square. You are no longer within the law. You are in violation because you're acting like the N-word, which we don't call our brothers and sisters the N-word. We call them dirty Moors, okay? And we know that's gonna hit home even more, even though the other word, if you was a Moor, that's kind of like fighting words, right? Do some damage, which further solidifies that you're not practicing your principles. You know what I'm saying? If you're gonna resort to try to hurt somebody because they called you something because you're acting in a certain kind of way. But we don't use the word because we don't want to provoke that spirit. That's an evil, wicked spirit. You know, and trust me, I done it, I did it. You know, and anytime I got in my feelings, that's what you gonna be back in the day. That's what I called you, you know. And a lot of times, or a few times, when I chose to practice it, I'll correct myself when referring to or more, but that's after I already got the gratification for saying it. So therefore, I already invoked that spirit, you know. So I had to mature, I had to grow up, I had to discipline myself. So I don't use the word as much as I used to. In other words, I'm still growing. And I have advanced a great deal. With that being said, fam, I hope that my knowledge, wisdom, over understanding of divine law, universal law, Moorishe Law, and supreme law was inspirational, encouraging, and inspiring to you towards you not just being your best self, but having an appetite to want to learn more law so you can stand on law and you can be in law, okay? And for those that are not proclaimed Moors, to be in law, you must proclaim your nationality. That is the law of the land, okay? And it is, how we say it? It is the order of the day, okay? Now, if you don't proclaim your nationality, you will continue to hold the name of your captives, which you so proudly call yourself, and you will reap what you sow, okay? And I'm gonna let you experience reaping what you sow, since that's what you choose, without trying to convince you otherwise. So you'll know that what I said was true. And then hopefully you change your mind. Because the wise man doubteth often and changes his mind. The fool is obstinate, he doubteth not. He knoweth all things, but his own ignorance. Peace, fam. Y'all have a great rest of y'all day. Peace.